Today, if you guys want to mark it already, we're going to be looking at Psalms 57. Growing up, I have an older brother who is 4 years older than me. So, as you can imagine, I've gotten into a lot of wrestling matches with my older brother over the years. And they all start and end in a very similar way. They always start with me annoying my brother or attacking him from behind with the element of surprise, thinking this will be the time that I get him. And as I've gotten older and bigger, it's been a little bit closer of a fight, but it all still ends the exact same way. I will jump my brother, and after a couple minutes of wrestling, I will end up in the same position. I will be face down on the ground, pinned down. My brother will have me by the wrist and will be choking me with my own arm. So this is the perfect mix of humiliation and pain. He's perfected it over the years. And when I'm in this position, there's only one thing that I can do, and that is to call out for mercy. Because I'm in a position where I cannot get out of it on my own. Even though I've put myself in this position, I'm unable to get out of it, and I need to ask for mercy. Today we're going to look at the reaction of David in Psalms 57 when he is in a position in which he needs mercy because he's in a situation that he cannot get out of on his own. Psalms 57 starts with, "For the director of music to the tune of Do Not Destroy, of David, when he had fled from Saul into the cave." And now, to give you a little bit of a background to this, Saul is chasing after David. He wants to kill David. He's jealous of David, and David is on the run. He's fleeing for his life, and he ends up in a cave, a cold, dark, uncomfortable cave. And in the midst of this is David's cry out to God, his prayer. "Have mercy on me, my God, have mercy on me. For in you I take refuge. I will take refuge in the shadow of your wings until the disaster has passed. I cry out to God Most High, to God who vindicates me. He sends from heaven and saves me, rebuking those who hotly pursue me. God sends forth his love and his faithfulness. I am in the midst of lions. I am forced to dwell among ravenous beasts, men whose teeth are spears and arrows, whose tongues are sharp swords. Be exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let your glory be over all the earth. They spread a net for my feet. I was bowed down in distress. They dug a pit in my path, but they have fallen into it themselves. My heart, O God, is steadfast. My heart is steadfast. I will sing and make music. Awake my soul. Awake harp and lyre. I will awaken the dawn. I will praise you, Lord, among the nations. I will sing of you among the peoples. For great is your love, reaching to the heavens. Your faithfulness reaches to the skies. Be exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let your glory be over all the earth." This is not the response that I would have expected from David to have in this situation. He's running for his life from King Saul. And he's been put in this situation not because of himself. He's been put in this situation by God. He was not seeking out glory or honor for himself. He was not seeking out to slay the giant Goliath. He did not want to anger the king. He loved the king. But he found himself in this situation where the king wanted him dead. I took some time this week and I tried to think about how I would have reacted if I was in the same situation. And I came to the conclusion that I might have been mad. I might have been a little frustrated at God. I might not have reacted the way David reacts here in this psalm. I may have said something like, "God, why have you put me in this situation? I did not ask for this. I was minding my own business. You called me to this life. I was tending my father's fields and livestock. Why is this happening to me?" I believe that all of us have, at some point, these kind of moments in our lives where we ask and we question God. Why did I get sick? Why did my parents get divorced? Why can't I break free from the cycle of sin that is weighing down my heart and preventing me from having the relationship with God I want? Why is Saul trying to kill me? Let's look at David's response again, verse 1 through 6. Have mercy on me, my God. Have mercy on me. For I take refuge in the shadow of your wings until the disaster has passed. This idea, this have mercy on me, God, have mercy on me. It's this idea that I cannot do this on my own. I need something greater than myself. He's reaching out to God, praying that He takes care of the situation. He's saying, I am not in control of this situation, you are. This is David humbling himself before God. He's humbling himself and saying that I will take refuge in the shadow of your wings. An article in National Geographic several years ago provided a penetrating picture of God's wings. After a forest fire in Yellowstone National Park, forest rangers began their trek up a mountain to assess the inferno's damage. One ranger found a bird, literally petrified in ashes, perched on the ground at the base of a tree. Somewhat sickened by the eerie sight, he knocked over the bird with a stick. When he gently struck it, 3 tiny chicks scurried out from underneath the dead mother's wings. The loving mother, aware of the impending disaster, had carried her offspring to the base of the tree and had gathered them under her wings, instinctively knowing that the smoke would rise. She could have flown away to safety, but refused to abandon her babies. When the blaze had arrived and the heat scorched her body, the mother had remained steadfast, because she was willing to die. Those under the cover of the wings would live. God is willing to protect us. God was willing to send His Son to die, to cover us, to protect us from ourselves, protect us from the sin that is inherent in this world. David goes on to cry out to God. He cries out to God Most High, to God who vindicates me. He sends from heaven and saves me, rebuking those who highly pursue me. God sends forth His love and His faithfulness. I am in the midst of lions. I am forced to dwell among ravenous beasts. He's not painting a pretty picture. He's surrounded. He's surrounded by things and people who want him dead. Men whose teeth are spears and arrows, whose tongues are sharp as swords. Be exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let your glory be over all the earth. Your glory, not my glory, your glory. They spread a net for my feet. I was bowed down in distress. They dug a pit in my path, but they have fallen into it themselves. Now, I was trying to think of a good illustration for verse 6 here this week. And I was thinking, I was hoping to get to something that was really prophetic. But the thing that I kept coming back to was this image of Wile E. Coyote chasing after the Roadrunner. And if you know anything about Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner and Looney Tunes, Coyote is always constantly trying to catch the Roadrunner. And the Roadrunner is running away from him. And the irony of it all is that Wile E. Coyote keeps getting hurt because he's chasing after the Roadrunner. He keeps setting these traps for the Roadrunner, and instead of the Roadrunner getting caught by them, he falls into these traps. Many a time he will run off the side of a cliff and fall to his doom. And that was the image that was going through my head this week as I looked over this irony of they have dug the pit in my path, but they're the ones who fell into it. God, you're the one who's protecting me. They're the ones who are going to fall into their own traps set for me. Each of us have traps in our lives that have been set. Some of them we know about, some of them are invisible traps. And it's important for us to know and understand what is in our way that will cause us to stumble. And also to know that God is able to keep us from falling into these traps. We're not able to on our own. On our own, we will fall into these traps. We are doomed to fall into these traps. The only way is through the grace of God that we do not. David is clearly distressed by what is going on. He's surrounded. He's in the midst of pain. But in the midst of his pain, he exalts God's name. We see this change from verse 6 to verse 7 when he says, "My heart, O God, is steadfast. My heart is steadfast. I will sing and make music. Awake my soul. Awake harp and lyre. I will awaken the dawn." Here he's saying, I will worship you, God. Even though I'm in this dark, damp cave where there's no light. If you've ever been inside a cave, at night especially, it is pitch black. So he's most likely in this dark place with the people around him. And he's saying, oh God, my heart is steadfast. And he will awaken the dawn with the praise of his psalm. I will praise you, Lord, among the nations. I will sing of you among the people. For God is your love. For great is your love, reaching to the heavens. Your faithfulness reaches to the skies. Be exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let your glory be over all of the earth. In order to exalt God's name in the midst of our pain, we must first humble ourselves. We see this in verse 1. Have mercy on me, God. In my situation with my brother, I had to humble myself in front of him in order for him to let me out of that chokehold. I had to say, you're in complete control here. Please have mercy on me. And we have to do this with, we need to do this with God too. We need to recognize that God is in control and that he is in control of all things. And he is the one we need mercy from. It's interesting, David doesn't ask Saul for mercy. He asks God for mercy. Even though Saul is the one who is physically chasing him and hunting him down, he still recognizes that God is the God who is willing to give us mercy. This month has been an emotional roller coaster for me. I found out that I'm going to be a dad for the first time, which has been amazing. It's been it's stressful, but it's joyous. It's ups and downs, worry about financial situation, where I'm going to be after school, and all that stuff. But I just find myself giddy with praise and adoration for God. This past week, however, the roller coaster took a different turn and went down. And it took my wife and I back down to the depths of despair as she was experiencing symptoms of a miscarriage. And we struggled with this for a couple days before we could get into the doctor and to get an ultrasound. And in the midst of this pain, I kept coming back to this verse, this psalm, that in the midst of my pain, I still need to exalt God's name. And my prayer just throughout these days of struggle were, have mercy on me, God. Have mercy on me and my wife. Have mercy on my unborn child. We got the best news I've ever gotten in my life at that ultrasound. We're going to have a beautiful, perfect baby, is what the person said. And they showed me my son or daughter's heartbeat for the first time. Oh, be exalted, O God. Be exalted in these wonderful, joyous moments. But be exalted in the pain as well. My prayer for us today is that we can go forth from this place and that we know that God's mercy, he wants to shower it upon us. He wants to take us under his wing. He wants to protect us. He wants to be the mother bird protecting her young. And above all else, we need to understand that God needs to be exalted. He needs to be exalted to all nations, to all people. We need to go forth from this place and spread that that message of joy, the gospel of Jesus Christ, to all nations, to all people. I'd like to end today just with a prayer for you. Dear Lord, have mercy on us. Have mercy on us in the good times and the pain. And I pray that in the pain we are able to exalt your name. Lord, I pray that when these hard times come, that we don't have a spirit of frustration or anger towards you, Lord. I pray that we can kneel before you, kneel before the King, and know that the plans you have for us are the right plans. They're the plans that will better our lives and further your glory, Lord. I just ask this in your Son's name. Amen.